Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and I'd like to do a quick reading update because I have at least one book that's due at the library today, and I need to return it because it's a brand new book and I don't want to have it out longer than I need to because I'm done with it. And as soon as Katie gets home, then I can run some of these books back to the library. It's Thursday evening, and I'm probably just going to make this a Friday Reads, so I will upload this tomorrow. But meanwhile, I wanted to give you a reading update, let you know about my Stackmas challenge and what all I have finished since my mid-month update. I had thought about doing a Friday Reads, but then I was in the middle of reading some books for the Spookathon, which I didn't do great on. I got some things read. I have been getting a lot of audiobooks done. I'm finding that it's kind of one or the other as far as my focus. I can do both all along, but if I'm really focused on listening to audiobooks, then I don't get much print reading done, and vice versa. So I finished 7 audiobooks in the last since the last time that I did an update, and I want to tell you what they are, and also just briefly mention some of my current reads and what I hope to finish before the end of the month. So the books that I finished the last 3 in the Haunted Yarn Shop Mystery Series. It's a cozy mystery series by Molly MacRae. I finished book 3 last week, or before my last update. So book 4 is Plagued by Quilt, and I always love when they use the word quilt instead of guilt. Like the one book that I mentioned in my cozy mysteries with fantastic titles. My favorite is Innocent Until Proven Quilty. I love that. So this is equally cute, but, well, I shouldn't say equally. I think Innocent Until Proven Quilty is a little bit cuter, but Plagued by Quilt is also great. Then the next one is Not the Usual Suspects, and then Cruel and Unusual. I'm going back and forth about whether to do a series review of this series. I know several of you watched my series review of the Cat in the Stacks mysteries. If the Haunted Yarn Shop mystery series is a series that you would like to hear more about, and you would like for me to do a whole separate video on that series, there's 6 different books, and I could kind of tell you a little bit about the series as a whole, as well as the synopsis, sort of, or at least the premise of each individual book, then I'll be happy to do that, but I'm not going to do that in this video. Then the other books that I finished, the big deal that I finished, I couldn't even believe this. I've read this or listened to this within a 48-hour period. Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is book 1 in the Live Ship Traders. This is really good. I didn't really know what to expect. Well, I kind of knew what to expect, but I knew that it was going to somehow be a little bit related to the previous trilogy, but really it's in the same world, but you don't have to have read the Farseer trilogy to read this. They mention the Elderlings, but the Elderlings really don't come into play in this book. In fact, in the Farseer trilogy, they don't even come into play really until the very last book. You sort of figure out what they are. But these are all books in the world of the Elderlings. I'm assuming that the Elderlings are going to come into play later in the series, or we're going to learn a little bit more about them. I don't know. But in this series, there are ships that are alive. That's the basic underlying principle in all of them. And then, of course, there's all the characters and the different people. Most of this book takes place on the water, on a ship. And there's more than one live ship, but this one, I guess the main character, there is one main live ship in this one, and then there's one that's secondary that I hope will come back into play in future books, and then there are some actual humans that are main characters as well. I thought it was very good. I didn't love everything about it, but I was very intrigued by it, and definitely will continue on with this trilogy and on with more of the series. So that was fun. And then I don't know if I have an example of, let's see. Yes, I do. I wasn't sure if I had an example of everything I finished, but I do. I finished Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. This was a book club selection for my regular literati book club at the public library. I didn't love this. It was okay. I think if I had realized it was based on a true story, while I was reading it, I might would have appreciated it a little bit more. I don't know. I might listen to it one more time. I bought it on Audible, but I don't think I loved it enough to keep it. And I may not listen to it again. I may just return it. I don't know. It really wasn't my thing. As well as this one. This was also for book club. This was for my mystery book club. It wasn't chosen by me, but I try not to choose all the books for my mystery book club. I try to let the participants have a part in choosing them. And this was one that they wanted to read. And then it turned out that the people who chose it have either moved away or gone or were on vacation or whatever. So we had 4 people there. I did not get it finished in time for book club. I just finished it today. But then there was one library staff member there who had read it years ago, and then one member who had started it and not finished it, but she had seen the movie, and then one book club member who had finished it. So I told her, I said, just tell me the spoilers. Tell me what happened. So she told me what happened, and then I went ahead and finished it. And this, by the way, is an abridged version. So it doesn't have all the details, which is fine because I wasn't really that interested in it enough to go back and listen to the full version. So she told me kind of the basic of who did it and all of that and why. And so as I was listening to it, I didn't have to listen quite as attentively as I would have had I not known. So I did go ahead and get through it, and I can just say that I'm done with this one. It was the abridged version, but it was still 6 CDs, so it was long enough to call it done. And I'm glad that I finished it, but I don't think I'll continue with the Dan Brown series. So then the other book that is actually on my Stackmas challenge, which more, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these books are on my Stackmas challenge. So this is the most recent one. Well, no, it's not, because I just finished Angels and Demons today. This is the one I finished just a couple of days ago. This is, if you can see it under the glare, The Christmas Boutique by Jennifer Chiaverini. This was a surprising, for me, addition to the Elm Creek Quilt series. There hadn't been an Elm Creek Quilt novel in several years. Jennifer Chiaverini has been mostly writing historical fiction lately, and a lot of it has to do with some sort of quilting or sewing, but not this particular series. I mean, she hadn't written anything in this series in a while. I enjoyed the book. The premise was that the Elm Creek Quilters were called upon to host the Christmas Boutique for a local charity that I forget who usually hosts it each year, but the venue that they normally hold it at was damaged somehow, flooded or something. So they weren't able to have it at the regular venue, so the Elm Creek Quilters stepped up and hosted it at their location, at the Elm Creek Manor. So what I didn't particularly love about the book is that I would say more than half of it was recap. Maybe she did that because it's been so long since there was an Elm Creek Quilts book, and a lot of people might be picking this one up that haven't read the other books in the series. Or maybe she did it because the story needed filler. I don't know. But I felt like I was hearing a lot of the same stories again as a review, that some of it was fine because I didn't remember all the details, but I remembered enough of it that I didn't really need that much review. But all that being said, it wasn't a bad book. I did enjoy it, and it was great to be back in this series. So I hope there's going to be more of the series, and I would like to see the story keep progressing farther with the lives of the quilters. I felt like this was just kind of one little thing, and we got all the backstory of their lives, but then this one little event. I would like to see it go forward a little more. I don't know. Anyway, it was good. And if you have read any of this series, then you should definitely pick this one up. But just know that there is a lot of recap and review in it. So that, I believe, is everything that I finished, and all of those were audiobooks. I will list all the audiobook narrators down in the description below. So just to show you where all that fits in with my Stackmas chart. So 5 of the books that I finished are actually on the tree. 3 of them were, 3 of them were on this row, because this one was for a previous week. So here's 3 of them. That's the Haunted Yarn Shop Mysteries. And then here's Mad Ship. So I also want to go ahead and listen to the other 2. They're all big chunkers, but I listened to this at 2 times speed on Hoopla. And I literally, it's a 35.5-hour audiobook, and I just kept it in my ear as often as possible during those 2 days, and I got it done. I couldn't believe I got it done. Then, let's see, what else did I finish? Oh, right here is the Elm Creek Quilt novel, the Christmas Boutique, because I finished the Giving Quilt earlier in the month, and then, so now I finished that stack. And then I feel like there was one more, but I guess that's 5. That's actually, yeah, that's 5. Okay. Then the other 2 were book club books, which I will put down here. And so, yeah. Okay. So, just a few books. I'm not going to show you everything I'm currently reading. I think I have 5 books in print that I'm currently reading and 3 audiobooks. One I just started today. The one I just started today is Queen of the Night by J.A. Jance. I am now finally over halfway done with Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard. I've been listening to this in the car. And the other audiobook is on my phone. Oh, it's one that I didn't expect to listen to, but for book club, we are doing, for both of my local library book clubs, we're doing nonfiction for our November meetings. And so I decided to go ahead and listen to both of them as quickly as possible and not wait until November. Although one of them I have on Scribd, and because I listened to this one on Scribd, this was my 3rd one to listen to during my trial period, it bumped all my other saved books to not being available until October 31st. So it's okay. I got to listen to 3 books for free, and I'm happy with that. So the other book that I'm going to be listening to on Scribd, because that's the only place I can find it on audio other than having to just buy a copy on Audible, is The Stranger Beside Me by Ann Rule. That's my nonfiction book for my mystery book club. Then for our regular book club, our nonfiction book was going to be Educated by Tara Westover, and I think another book club in our county must have decided to do the same book in the same month because we couldn't get any copies in our library system. So the librarian decided to switch it to the library book by Susan Orlean, and I'm sorry I don't have a way to show you. I had the CDs checked out, but then I realized that the audio was also on RB Digital, which is one of the library resources that I told you about in my 10 sources of audiobook video that I did. So I'm listening to it on RB Digital, and it's basically a nonfiction book about the Los Angeles Library and a little bit about libraries in general, but it starts out talking about the fire in the Los Angeles Library in 1986, I believe, and it talks about that first, and now she's gone back and she's giving us the whole history of the main central library of Los Angeles. And it's very interesting. In fact, I didn't know till I saw a picture somewhere, that a picture of the cover, I guess, on Goodreads, that it's actually a Reese Witherspoon book club pick. So I guess that explains its popularity, and it's really good. I'm very interested in it. I'm glad that I'm able to get it on audio though, because I don't think I would really be able to get through it very quickly if I had to sit down and read it, because right now I'm just not getting through print books very quickly. I have these 2 that were Spookathon picks, and I am just barely into both of them. This one I'm a little bit farther into. This is Ember Flame by Kaycee Browning. She's the niece of a really good friend of mine, and I had been wanting to read it for a long time, and my library has a copy. Then this is my own copy of Pigtopia by Katie Fitzgerald. I understand that it's a Frankenstein retelling. I don't see that yet, but I've never really read Frankenstein, although I kind of know the basic story. But this is very, very unique. The writing style and the language of the main character is very unique. So it's taken me a little time to read it. And I'm already an auditory reader. I have to kind of read out loud and hear it in my head. This I for sure do. I have to read it out loud and really just interpret what it's trying to say. But I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be very, it already is fairly heart-wrenching and sad. So anyway, I'm going to keep on working on that. And I have the book I'm reading with my daughter. It's in her room right now. I didn't get it out. It's called Circle of Grace, I think, by Leslie Gould. And I don't even remember what else that I'm currently reading. Those are the main things. Oh, I have the Guardians of Ga'Hoole book that I'm reading for because I want to send it to my great-nephew. And I haven't made any progress in it lately either because I've been working on these. And I haven't made any progress in anything print because I've been really focusing on audiobooks. I had all those Hoopla books that were borrowed that were expiring by the 20th or 21st. And this was the last one that I had to read for that. So anyway, I still also have my Audible challenge, category challenge books to listen to this week. And I'll be picking new ones for November and December. In fact, I went ahead and just chose the categories. So I don't think I have enough time. I'm about out of time, but anyway, my camera's going to cut off in just a minute. I have chosen categories rather than drawing them out. For November, it's going to be Colonial and Frontier. And then for December, it's going to be Amish and Victorian. I just feel like those kind of go a little more with the holidays of those months rather than drawing out something random. So that is going to be our category picks for November and December. I'll mention those again later, but if you're watching this and you're doing the challenge, then that's the picks. I think Sarah's going to go ahead and start it back up again on her Goodreads group next year. So if she does that, then I'll just, we'll just go right back into the larger group. I don't even know if any of you guys are actually reading the categories with me or not. I don't think anyone's commented to those threads on my Goodreads group lately. But if you are, let me know. And if not, no big deal. So I guess that's all I have for this video. Oh, I have one library book checked out. I found this really cool Miss Read book. And I think it has some quotes and things from other authors. But it's called Country Bunch. And I think I am out of time in just a second. So anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book and God bless you.